Right now, I'm a little thirsty, so let's travel back into the BT studio.
I think we'll all be a little thirsty after this segment with Craig Larkins, who is marking 3 decades at Big Rock Brewery. How do you celebrate 30 years there, Craig?
By making a whole lot of beer, Jill, in preparation for the big celebration. Again, it happens on September 26th. Joining me now is Paul. He is the brewmaster down here at Big Rock Brewery, and you have quite the history with the company, correct? You've been here for how long?
I've been here for coming up to 30 years, 29 and a bit.
So you've been here from the beginning when they had the original 3, right?
I came in on day 2, but when I started in February '86, there were just still the original 3.
So how does one get the title of brewmaster down here at Big Rock Brewery? Because I kind of want that title.
Well, after 30 years, I'm going to learn something, I suppose. But Big Rock sent me to the proper brewing brewing programs in the UK, University of California, Davis, and Wisconsin. Sent me to school to get some engineering and a lot of hard work.
So you know your stuff when it comes to actually making these tasty beers down here.
I think so.
Let's talk about some of the ingredients that go into it. This is just just a sample of what goes into the beers down here. But what are we looking at on the first here on the table? Well,
these are beers basically made out of 4 key ingredients. Water and yeast are 2 of them, and the other 2 are barley of different types and then hops. So we have about 20 different barley types here at the brewery, starting out with just general pale malt, which is malted barley. Then we can, over here we have, this is wheat, what you might use in our wheat beers. You can see the white starch on the inside of the kernel. Yep. Then these next 2 are also barley malt, malted barley. This is a caramel malt where it's been caramelized, gives the beer some body and some nice caramel flavors and a lot of color. And then black malt, this is something you would see in a porter, as you can see here. And they're really hit with a lot of heat and burnt on the inside, really gives it an acrid flavor, a deep roasted coffee type flavors, and a lot of dark color.
So right behind us, actually, we're going to walk over there. We have some breakfast television beer brewing. Is that right? Is that what it's called?
It's the BT IPA is what I've been calling it. Jason's just getting it started, so
he's just pulling what we just saw into.
Yeah, we will take that malt and we crush it in a mill to expose the starches on the inside, and that's what you see pouring in there. We mix it with water to build a mash, and there are natural enzymes in the malt that will convert that starch over into sugar for fermentation into beer.
Yummy. That's part of the action that you can see down here on the 30th birthday bash. Again, for September 22nd, there are some tours, they got music, they got beer gardens down here. Again, September 22nd, Big Rock Brewery 30th birthday bash coming up. We're going to continue our tour down here, Jill.
The BT IPA looks good. Thanks very much, Craig. Happy 30th birthday, Big Rock, a great local company.
We're celebrating the Big 3-0 for Big Rock. Again, it happens Saturday, September 26th. And we've done the tour inside. We're going to head back in our next segment. We've headed indoors to the Big Rock Grill. Joining me now is Chef Harry. You've been on the show before.
Yes, I have. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Calgary.
Good morning, everybody.
Thanks for coming back.
Of course. One of the main ingredients, of course, beer is in a lot of the dishes down here at Big Rock Grill.
Yes,
so
you bet.
What dish are we going to whip up this morning right now?
Today we're making a French onion soup with Big Rock's traditional ale.
So why, and you were saying it's kind of hard to mix in the beers because of the bitter taste of them. Why that particular ale for this particular dish?
Well, it has less hops, so the bitterness isn't as much as with other beers what we have here at Big Rock. And it has a nice nutty and caramel flavor. Okay. So it's perfect with the onions, so it goes very well.
So let's start whipping up the dish. What are the other ingredients that you're,
so what we use,
the onions?
Yeah, so the onions, we have butter, we have garlic, we have salt, pepper, bay leaf, balsamic, and then of course we have our beer infused with a beef broth.
Do people enjoy a beer while enjoying the French onion soup?
Absolutely, be very well.
The same kind of ale, or do they mix it up to you?
Well, it'd be best with just drink it with the traditional. It'd be awesome, yes, if you could.
So what's the first step in?
So the first one we use a little bit of oil here. Yeah. It's a canola oil. Then I add the butter. So I'm doing a half recipe. The recipe is online for you. Okay. So this is about 4 onions.
That's 4 onions?
4 onions sliced up, yes, and then I have my little...
Fry them up?
Yeah.
That smells delicious already.
So we have that, and then we add a little bit of garlic to it.
We got about 45 seconds here.
Okay. And then
it looks like that.
and then this is going, and then we'll do this here. So this is already pre-caramelized for about a half an hour. Now I'm gonna add
That's the
the
beer?
stock to
The
it,
stock?
yes.
Okay. Again, that's the traditional ale.
Yes. Then if I wanna just reach over here, I'm gonna come back, get a bay leaf,
Yeah.
add a twig of thyme, which I have here nice and fresh.
Yummy.
Then I put a little bit of balsamic.
And you whipped up this recipe?
Especially for the brewery here, for us, for the
At some
grill.
point, try and show the final product. But I quickly want to mention as well.
Let me put this on here to let this simmer for a little while.
And that's the final.
And then the final, then I basically have this already made this morning.
The magic of TV.
Yes, and then we'll put this in here,
Looks
in the
delicious.
bowl. And I have to hurry. All right, so then we put a bit of toast on here, which I pre-did. Then I put 3 slices of Swiss cheese.
Yum.
And that goes into my salamander here. And at home, you probably would use
It's the broiler,
the
you said,
oven, the
right?
broiler, right? And so we let this let this melt here. And in the meantime, we can talk about.
Yeah. In addition to the Big Rock Grill serving lunch that day, you guys there's a huge farmer market is going to be set up, and you're going to be serving some tasty pies down there at the farmers market. Again, the 30th birthday of the Big Rock 30th birthday bash, September 26th. Our tour continues. We're going to talk about Alberta Beer Week coming up in our next segment, Joe. Yes, celebrating 30 years here at Big Rock Brewery. The 30th birthday bash happens Saturday, September 26th. You're checking out some of the main ingredients used in the tasty beers down here. But Greg Zeschuk joins me now from the Alberta Small Brewers Association. In conjunction with the big birthday bash, Alberta Beer Week is happening. We'll get to that in a second, but let's talk about what the Alberta Small Brewers Association is.
Sure, we're a group of all the small breweries in Alberta that get together, collaborate, make beers together, but also work with government and try and improve the brewing environment to make it great for all Albertans.
And you were saying, we were talking in the commercial break, that craft beer is kind of starting to surge in popularity in Alberta?
Yeah, no, it's been interesting because a couple of years ago, the government removed the minimum production requirement. You had to brew a large amount, but now that's gone. There are breweries, I'm getting calls like every month, every week from people in small towns, in the cities, and there's new breweries coming around all over the province.
So what is Alberta Beer Week besides the obvious of drinking beer?
Well, I think what it is, it's really it's a celebration of local beer. Beer is a perishable thing. It doesn't travel well over long distances. It's best fresh. It's best local. So Alberta Beer Week is a bunch of events. They're kind of all over the province. They're run by the breweries, run by establishments that serve beer to celebrate the local beer. Alberta beer's on special. There's all kinds of crazy, unique beers made, and just really fun for people.
How many breweries would you say are part of the association right now?
We're actually up to about 18 with a couple more coming online shortly. So it's become, and that's grown, it's almost doubled in size in the last 2 or 3 years. It's actually incredible.
So as part of Alberta Beer Week, there will actually be beer gardens down here at the Big Rock Brewery. Let's talk about that. How many vendors are going to be on hand and where all that money goes to as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think latest we heard is about 9 of the other breweries other than Big Rock are here. So not only we have great Big Rock beer, you also have breweries from all over Alberta here. And that money is going to go to help fund the association, to help us support Alberta beer.
I like it. So this beer right now, this is Jason. Hey, Jason. He's brewing the breakfast television beer right now. How's it looking?
It's looking good. Just going through our temperature stages right now. Just heating up to 72 degrees.
72 degrees. And how long were you saying it takes to brew this beer?
To brew this beer, it takes about 6 to 7 hours.
Long time, but it's worth it because it's tasty. Alberta Beer Week, September 25th to
October 3rd.
And again, that is in part with the Big Rock Brewery 30th Big Birthday Bash, September 26th. Come on down. Coming up our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Big Birthday Bash and what else you can expect down here. Back to you, Jill.
Looks good. The BT IPO still brewing, and a long lineup of people here in studio. That would be very excited to taste that, celebrating 30 years at Big Rock.
Thanks, Jill. Yes, we're giving you a little preview of the original 3 beers that were brewed down here at Big Rock, and they were brewed in 1985. Paul's joining me again, the brewmaster here. Been around for 29 years, right?
I have.
So you were part of the original 3 brewing, correct?
Yes, I was.
So let's talk about them. What's the first one? The traditional ale? Is that what we got in the front there?
We can start with the trad. That's not the trad. This
Go with that one.
We'll start with the porter. So this was a porter when there weren't very many porters around at the time. It's, of course, like a stout or a porter. It's very dark in color. Delicious, full-bodied beer made with a lot of
Are you supposed to drink it warm?
malt.
I heard someone. You can?
Yes, the flavors come out when it's warm. A lot of the flavors come out that are hidden if the beer is too cold.
Yeah.
So I like mine just a touch below room temperature if it's a porter.
Nice, and that's, again, one of the original 3, brewed in 1985. Next up is?
Next is traditional ale, which is an English brown ale. This one is still our flagship beer. It's a very popular beer in Canada or in Calgary. Everybody knows it, I think. As you can see in the color, it's a nice kind of reddish amber hue to it. Another full-bodied, very malt-forward beer.
Smells very tasty. What's the third one?
The third one is bitter, which was our original beer. This beer was ahead of its time. Before IPAs became in vogue like they are today, this bitter was done with a lot of hops, quite bitter. We didn't call it an IPA, we called it a pale ale at the time, but it's got IBUs up in the 60 IBU range, so it's quite bitter, it's delicious, and the aroma is just beautiful.
Where can you get them? They're only available here at the brewery on the day of.
This is throwback pricing at the brewery on the day of, and then you can get it all around the city after that.
Perfect. Let's bring in Suzanne quickly to talk about the actual big event, because it's not just about sipping beer, it's a family-friendly event, right?
Yes, we're having a birthday bash farmers market. We're hoping for sunshine. Over 50 farmers market vendors. We're going to have beer gardens. We're also going to be doing brewery tours for free. So if you've ever wanted to come and check.
It's very cool, by the way.
Yeah, come on down. And we have games. We have a beer gardens. All the profits are going to ASBA, Alberta Small Brewers Association. It's going to be a fun day, and I'm bringing my kids, which is kind of cool, too. Yeah.
Well, again, when is it again? Saturday, September 26th?
September 26th. So can you talk to your weather guy?
Are you listening, Andy?
We need sunshine. Please, Andy.
Head to breakfasttelevision.ca for more information, and that wraps up our tour of the Big Rock Brewery.
We're going to put in a good word for Suzanne Fox. Thanks very much, Craig. Celebrating 30 years. What a milestone achievement. Happy birthday, Big Rock. We're going to tee up tomorrow's show. We have a big announcement to talk about, along with Mike Yanni, who's live in San Francisco for the Apple unveil. 8:55, you're watching Breakfast Television on City.